EMS community is going to hate me for saying this, but I don't think that you should be required to get a college degree in order to become a paramedic. This has been a long-standing debate within our community, and leadership is really out of touch with reality if they think this is going to advance our profession by forcing us to get either an associate's or bachelor's degree. The first argument that I hear is that it will make us better rounded providers, and while to an extent I agree that is true, the benefits have to at least equal the costs that it takes to get us to that point. If it is truly and solely about becoming better rounded providers and increasing our education, I would encourage you to look up those equivalent classes on the internet. All you could ever hope to learn and beyond is available for free at the touch of your fingertips. The other argument I hear is that it will increase pay, and I sorely disagree. I'd like to cite my own service as an example. Where I'm at, medics are definitely scarce, and I have not seen my own employer budge when it comes to increasing pay with medics. I've also had confirmation of this similar practice at other services from other people in my TikTok lives when the discussion of pay comes up. When you're saying that education will increase pay, what you're saying is that barrier to entry will cause scarcity, and that scarcity will drive the price of our labor, our value up in the marketplace. Unfortunately, I have seen no evidence of this actually happening. School teachers are a prime example of a population who has to have a 4-year degree and still is not compensated accordingly to the cost of that degree. Unfortunately, in America, our salary is set by the perceived marketplace value divided by how little our employers can get away with paying us. And if you need more systemic proof of that, I'd like to reference you to a little thing called the student debt crisis. With 33 million Americans carrying some form of student debt, 1 in 3 bachelor's degree holders are working in jobs that do not require a degree, and 1 in 3 bachelor's degree holders cannot find full-time work. I would also argue that I have gotten further in my life because I don't have a college degree. Because I was not saddled with the burden of student debt, I was able to pay off my car and become a homeowner at 22. While I did focus and go without and penny pinch to make that happen, I do believe a large portion of that was because a large percentage of my check was not taken away to pay off student loans. This would be a small price to pay if I sincerely believed that we would have increased pay because of our schooling. I simply don't think that it does, though. And by the way, the average associate's degree costs somewhere between $3,500 a year and $10,000 a year, with no promises on the return in our investment. If we now make an associate's degree a requirement, what is to stop colleges from jacking up the prices of our tuition per semester? I also want to take the time to add in this disclaimer. If you wanted to get a college degree solely off of the fact that you wanted to be proud of it, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I just don't think it should be a requirement in EMS. I think it's fine just how it is. If you want to go and get a college degree in paramedicine, go for it, shoot for the moon. But I should not be required to. Another reason that I believe that college degrees won't increase our pay is because I've seen other proof of it myself outside of just EMS. When I was at the peak of my burnout, I considered a career switch to computer science, specifically data analytics. I do want to make this disclaimer that if you do go the route of getting a degree in the computer science realm, it is much easier to initially get hired. But if you can learn the raw skills to be a data analyst on the internet. And when you inevitably do get someone to take a chance on you, once you have that experience, it is just as valuable as a college degree and makes you just as hireable. And this led me down a rabbit hole. I started looking on LinkedIn, and you would be shocked at the amount of jobs outside of like engineering and being a doctor that do not require you to have a degree. Further emphasizing my point that employers do not value degrees, they value skill sets. And now for the third and worst argument that I normally hear, that we will be better respected by our healthcare peers. Respect does not come from a certificate or just broad education. It comes from your ability to perform and utilize that knowledge. And in the case of something like a doctor or a nurse, their schooling is vocational to what it is that they are doing. If you're talking about a generic statistics, psychology, and English class is going to have that same effect as a nurse getting vocational training, you're sorely mistaken. Now, if you want to have the argument or the discussion that there would be some type of vocational training to broaden the scope of practice or give me a better understanding of law, something like that, something specific to my field. That's a discussion I'd be more willing to have. There are some schools out there that have programs that are beefier in the material related to paramedicine, but they are few and far between, and they are not the reality and accessible to the majority of people seeking to get an education in paramedicine.